Good morning, everyone. This is Marla Copal, the Vitality Mentor. It is 8:30 Mountain Time on March 21st, and it is the 10th day for me to shelter in place. And it's just been an interesting time. It's been an interesting time watching comments on Facebook and other things that are going on. But let me give you a little background. I've had questions asked me, why do I call myself the Vitality Mentor? Well, it's my belief that we're in charge of our own enthusiasm. We're in charge of our own health. We are in charge of our own attitude. And when you're in charge of those things, then you bring resiliency into your life. It's like, dang, I hate this. This sucks. This is all like not what I wanted it to be. But it is, it just is. And so I realized that I've had a few situations in my lifetime that at the age of 71 are now adding up and coming in to be of value at this time of my life. So I'm not wise, haven't had every experience, but I'm grounded. And I like to make choices in a non-reactive situation. And oh my gosh, have I made my share of reactive decisions. But here's a situation where we're all at home with our children, and we have an opportunity here to develop some resiliency for them. We have no idea what's going to occur in their lifetime. We all had no idea this would occur in our lifetime. So, what behavioral legacy do you want to leave your children? Do you want them to see you complaining about and being victimized by decisions that our leadership is making? Now, I'm not getting political here. This is just a fact. When we have asked people to lead us, we don't get to always chime in with, well, I like this and I don't like that, and I'll take this piece and I'll take that piece. We sound like 6-year-olds in the sandbox. We don't want to be 6-year-olds in the sandbox. We want our 6-year-olds now to grow up and be 21 and 30 and 40 and 50 and 60 and to not still be living in that 6-year-old sandbox. So what behaviors are you going to demonstrate to your children? So I loved my mom. As we were all teenagers, of course, that's not high on our list, but she left me with a good legacy. She left me with a few legacies, and they all involved resiliency. And so did my dad. But I realized that when it really came down to it, my mom was the anchor for my dad. And it was her foundation, her solid foundation of living enthusiastically, maintaining her resiliency in spite of what was going on, that she was essentially one of the leaders in her family. The emotional leader. She was the emotional leader. So you remember when we're kids, we all go in and we say, oh, I hate this. I hate this. And my mom would just turn around and say, are you sure that's the only way you want to feel? Boom, boom. Like that was the velvet 2x4 that seemed to turn me around and go, well, what is that? And then when I'm running around as a 10-year-old with a frown on my face, she said, do you want to look like that the rest of your life? Now, I know we've all heard that one, but it resonated with me at the time. It's like, no, my dad called himself Happy Tom. He was a salesperson. He went out. My mom was happy. She was a guidance counselor. I had good opportunity with somebody showing me choices, and I decided to just be on the upside of things and always look for the upside. Not that I cannot see the downside, but I like to help people get out of their morass, get out of their funk, get out of their wherever they are. And that's just who I am. Maybe it's in my DNA. Maybe it's in my upbringing. Maybe it's in the practices I've put into place. But I want you to seriously think about what are the practices you're putting in place while you're sheltering at home. So when your children are fighting, are you splitting them up and sending them to their room? Or are you creating a chore like they got to go out in the backyard and pick up dog poop together? And they'll be rewarded by what they do together. Well, I got to tell you, every time mom had us do that, we were having fun inside of 3 minutes. whether we were making poop jokes or whatever, all of a sudden we were a team. And then if we were to add it again, she'd all put us down to pulling weeds. And we had a contest of how many dandelions could each of us pull. And we each had a bag, and she'd make us get them out and count them. Well, then we're in competition, but sort of a friendly competition, not an animosity-based competition. So emotions are going to run high in your household. Now, where we see emotions running high right now is we see them running high on Facebook. People are still putting hate-filled messages out there about the decisions that are being made. Some people are still scoffing at the information that we have on the virus. Well, you know what? None of us will know until somebody says this is over, and then we see and experience if it is the truth. So I just did some basic math today, and I took some of the numbers that are out there on the COVID virus board. So out of the people that got ill in China, 25% died. Out of the ill so far in Italy, there's 21% that have died. Now, there's only 7% so far in the US. So is what we're doing working? We will only know in another 2 months, maybe 6 months. I'm not saying we have to be sheltered in place that long. What I'm saying is we have to wait for the outcome. And so what you want to show your children is this behavioral legacy of what do you do when you really can't do anything about it? What are the moments that you can be resilient in spite of this stay-at-home message? Yes, they're all squirrely. Yes, they're as fearful as you are going to be fearful. They may be more fearful than you are fearful, but you are stimulating that fear. So if you need an opportunity to manage your fear, I have some friends that have resources and they can help you. So all you have to do is message Marla Copal on Facebook. If you haven't friended me, do that. If you'd like to subscribe to my YouTube channel, it's called The Vitality Mentor, and you can share these videos out. It is my purpose as the Vitality Mentor to help each of you stay calm, pull together, and manage the current reality, because that is all we can do. Now, you can all send me questions on what was my experience, but I had one today. Somebody said, well, what's bad with martial law? And I'm not a political expert, but I will tell you my personal experience in college when I lived under martial law for almost 5 months, the last 5 months of my senior year. So yeah, there's a lot of seniors right now that don't get to graduate. But you know what? Because of that martial law and feeling like a caged animal and seeing people loot and seeing people riot and watching neither side, the authorities or the students, have any forgiveness of the process and of the need, the righteousness that ran around the streets on both sides was very disconcerting to me. I was very disappointed in humanity. I didn't have a solution, but I had what I was going to do to maintain my peace of mind. And that meant for me that I skipped my college graduation. I didn't want to see one more protest. I didn't want to hear one more negative word. And today, I have to tell you, I'm probably deleting 5 or 6 posts a day in which they're still hate-filled, they're ridicule-filled, and they are not offering any part of a solution. So we have a choice to be part of the solution or the problem. And my encouragement to you is to stay resilient. Show your children how they can be a solution. So maybe that just means your children walk up and down the street and you get a message out to all your neighbors, and every day they go at 10 o'clock and at 2 o'clock and at 5 o'clock, and all the elderly neighbors that are in, they open their doors and they wave. These people need to feel connected. Who else in your neighborhood needs to feel connected? You know, I saw a post the other day where a gentleman was carried out of an apartment building he had passed, and the neighbors didn't know that. And then today, that same apartment building doesn't have heat. People are having tough times. So if all your tough time is to stay at home and worry about, will I have enough food or whatever, start the plan. You can call your grocery store and they'll have what they can. The supply chain is fine right now. It's those of us who are hoarding or spreading inappropriate rumors or still wanting to define whether this is or is not a problem. That is not the point. Somebody else has decided for us that this is a problem. So now what we get to do is pull together and be part of the solution. So sorry if I'm sounding a little preachy, but I'm getting a little frustrated with those who want this to be different. It's just not going to be different. So let's not show that to our children, because who knows that in 50 years that they won't have to have some form of resiliency to help them through this. I got to say, the resiliency that I gained in college and then at Outward Bound and then in running a business for 20 years, I feel like I've paid some dues. I've helped people through emergencies. Nothing of this magnitude, nothing at all of this magnitude. But the best choice we can all make is to stay calm, show our family members how to be calm, have forgiveness around choices that are being made, because the choices are being made with the best information at hand. And if you don't want to really get too hyped up, then quit watching the news and quit overreacting to friends' posts. I'm noticing a trend. People are getting more positive in their posts. They're helping people manage the stress. And that's where you want to be. Don't create the stress. Help others manage theirs. So please, if you need me, my phone, you can text Marla to 64600 and you can text me a message if you need anything. I'll try to find you the resources. If you would like to share any of these with your friends, they're shareable on Facebook for 7 days, but you can go out to YouTube, the Vitality Mentor channel, and subscribe, and then you'll have them there again. And the big question for today is, what behavioral legacy do you want to leave your children? Because who knows what they'll experience in 50 years. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye. Talk to you tomorrow at 8:30.